Cadbury finally succumbed to Kraft's hostile takeover, and another British multinational is now in the hands of foreign owners. Should business care? As a marketing academic, should I have specific concerns? After all, the brands are still intact. It is the brands that Kraft paid all that money for, as well as some regional distribution strength. With the new owners, might this lead to further brand investment in new products? It's not likely that Kraft will decrease the investment behind its brands in the UK. It will want to take advantage of its distribution strengths and may even create more jobs. That's quite possible. There are many perspectives, though, that can throw light on this. Economists will talk about comparative advantage and freeing resources to more productive ends. Policymakers consider international free trade arrangements in the round and tend to avoid direct intervention, at least in Britain. The unions are rightly concerned about jobs and conditions for their members. Local communities worry about foreign owners' commitment to their communities. Cadbury was, and in many ways, a very progressive employer and a leading advocate of responsible business. I worry about Branch Plant Britain, though, and its implications for this country's long-term future. When I was growing up in Canada, we had a very similar discussion over Branch Plant Canada that ran and ran and ran. Considering the powerful role of US multinationals, Canadians worried, and presumably still worry, about being hewers of wood and drawers of water. I often ask my British colleagues to identify a Canadian multinational outside of natural resources and financial services. Stumped? Okay, BlackBerry owners, RIM is Canadian, eh? Top of mind, I can add Thomson Reuters, Bombardier, and SNC. But for a country of 30 million people sharing the world's largest undefended border with the largest market in the world, free from military conflict on its soil since the 1830s, excellent education, rock-solid financial system even these days, mostly speaking the international language of business, this is not impressive. I lived in Sweden in the early 1990s, and it could boast of Ericsson, Alfa Laval, IKEA, ASEA Brown Boveri, Electrolux, Volvo, Tetra Pak, AkzoNobel, SKF, and Saab. Okay, some of these are no longer Swedish owned, but in comparison to Canada, Sweden had a population of just over 8 million, shared borders with even smaller countries than itself, and at the time was not even an EU member. Why the difference in ability to build global businesses? The two countries have talented and educated workforces, advanced economies, strong social democratic systems, and both share really cold winters. Management theorists are concerned with the dynamic capabilities or competencies a firm needs in order to be a global player. The head office capabilities to conceive and execute competitive strategy globally, the ability to marshal resources like so many pieces on the chessboard, play the long game, invest wisely, and so forth to win. You don't often develop these capabilities as a local office that merely takes the head office design products and changes the spelling on the pack to meet the local language. If Britain loses these capabilities, it won't regenerate them easily. That was the concern in Canada when I lived there, whereas Sweden had a more independent and autonomous economic development as far as I can gather. Are there lessons for Britain in all this? Global strategic marketing skills are developed by working in head offices with global businesses. Of course, we teach these skills at Cranfield, but one must hone these skills competing globally with other global businesses. Once head offices disappear, those skills disappear, and they can't be developed domestically. The concern must be that future British firms with global ambitions will struggle to find British managers capable of global marketing leadership roles. As those head offices disappear, so will the suppliers that support them. The marketing agencies that work with global brands will downsize their strategic units, as will the management consultancies. And what about the corporate finance function? And what about global supply chain management? Really cutting-edge innovation in manufacturing, environmental management, and distribution tend to be trialed in the head office or mother country and then exported to the satellites. We lose those trialing and learning capabilities with the disappearance of head offices. So the aspiring British global entrepreneur of the future will not only need to import marketing leadership, but a whole host of other services and capabilities that may no longer exist in sufficient quality, scale, and depth. And then maybe our next generation of potential global entrepreneurs may just decide that this is not the place to set up shop and emigrate to countries with the resource base to support them. We can observe something akin to this with Silicon Valley in California. I don't begrudge a British IT entrepreneur the chance to build a global business from California, but I would rather that the know-how and wealth be generated and taxed in the UK. So again, back to management theory. There's a good argument made that the competitive advantage of a firm is grounded in its knowledge and its ability to absorb information from the environment, understand it, disseminate it, and then respond effectively. This knowledge-based perspective of business suggests that the loss of know-how and capability could turn into a vicious cycle, and Britain will be the poorer for it in terms of the national tax base, management development, investment, and even charity. So the loss of Cadbury, in the context of so many British multinationals being bought, is far more serious than jingoistic pride in a few head office jobs in London, although they matter. I worry that it is part of a deskilling of Britain, a permanent loss of the management and marketing capabilities that we need for a prosperous future.